Okay, good morning. I'm Lieutenant Michael McNeely with the Carmel Fire Department and the Public Information Division, along with
Tim Griffin, Carmel Fire Department.
Stephanie Yoder, Carmel Fire Department.
And this video is going to be some information over the interview process that we're getting ready to conduct for the 2025 applicant process. So our process probably looks a little bit different than other fire departments as far as the interview goes. What's that look like?
Well, first and foremost, congratulations on making it to this step, the next step in our hiring process. We're really excited to have you on board. Just a heads up, we're going to be interviewing approximately 150, just over, applicants. So there's definitely a lot of great qualified candidates, and we're looking forward to meeting all of you guys. So as far as structure goes, you're going to be arriving at Christ Community Church. We will list the address here, but it is 4770 East Main Street in Carmel, Indiana.
So you said we're interviewing a little over 150 in the course of the week. How many are we going to hire out of this group?
So we are doing a list that will be created from all these scores, from your written score and then your interview score. We are going to compile a list that will be valid for 1 year from its establishment, and we're looking to hire 15, I believe, off of this list. Yeah. So at least.
That 1 year is a little different than previous years for us and a lot of other fire services. A lot of them will do 2-year lists. We're moving to a 1-year list, so this list will be good for 1 year.
And after I get through these interviews, you're going to compile the scores and you're going to rank us on this list. What's the next step? What do I need to be doing? Am I waiting?
Once they compile that list, they'll start to reach out to individuals that they're going to move forward, whether it be for a chief's interview or further background checks. So, be prepared to find out, during that next year when they start to move forward with that process. So
they've already gone on and picked the day and time that they're going to interview. Mm-hmm. So if your interview's at 10 a.m., what time would you arrive?
Early. You need to get there, me personally, I would say at least a half hour early, especially because then you're going to have a 10-minute prep time.
Mm-hmm. Yep, so we have a series of questions that you'll be asked, and there's some good news for you guys. You're going to have 2 of the questions that you will be asked ahead of time, and you will have a 10-minute prep period. So getting there early is really going to benefit you, so that way you have the most time to get checked in, get settled, and get into that prep time before your panel interviews.
And so when we talk about panel interviews, there's actually 2 panels that every applicant will see.
Yes. Go ahead. Yeah, correct. You're going to have 2 different rooms. You're going to go into one first. There'll be 5 interviewers there. They'll ask you their questions. You'll finish with that room. You'll move to the next, and then the next 5 will ask you the questions from that room.
So board A and board B. And so in room A, how many questions?
You're going to have 4 questions.
Okay, and the first question of those 4 will be the one that you had time to prep for.
Correct.
And then when you're done with those 4 questions, you'll go to board B, which is another room. Mm-hmm. It's 5 completely different firefighters, and they're asking the same questions or different questions?
It'll be 4 new questions, and the first question will be the other question that you prepped on.
Okay, so 8 total questions, and the first 2 that you will get, the first one in board A and the first one in board B, are ones that you had time to prep for if you arrived early.
If you arrived early, yes. And in each panel, you will have a total of 8 minutes to complete those additional 4 questions. So you kind of have to use your time wisely and appropriately, and have an idea of how long you're speaking on each question. So No one will really prompt you, but they will tell you when you're getting close to that time. I'm not sure exactly what that marker is.
Normally we'll have some sort of how many minutes each minute go, so many minutes go by.
So let's talk about, for those that have never had a fire department interview, what this looks like. We've got some footage we can play here. When you're taken to the board interview, you walk into this room, they'll take you to that room. What are you going to see?
Well, you're going to see 5 firefighters sitting at a desk waiting to interview you. You'll have a desk or a chair in front of them, probably a binder in front of that you'll be able to have in front of you.
And that'll list the questions. So you'll have that question in front of you that they're going to be asking, and they'll tell you when to flip to the next question. So you'll talk through that. And there's not a lot of reaction that you're going to get from your panel. It's really important to know that this is different than any other interview you may have done, unless you've done other fire department interviews. It might have some similarities. But if they are talking to you, you're not going to get a lot of feedback on whether you're doing well or whether you're doing poorly. You're going to have most likely a solemn face from the panels.
So for someone who's not done one of these interviews, how do they prepare for those questions? Are there resources or?
Well, using obviously the resources we're giving you here. There's a lot of online resources. So today there's a lot of ways to get prepared for those, whether it's online, talking to firefighters you may know, researching how to answer, what to answer, and what to look for.
One thing that's always surprised me about sitting on these interview boards and applicants is how they really don't know anything about the Carmel Fire Department or the city of Carmel. What are some great resources to learn about our fire department, to maybe have some knowledge to answer those questions better than the other applicants?
Sure, absolutely. So there's definitely a wealth of information that's out there and available. If you look at any of our social media pages, if you go to our website, being informed, you don't have to be an expert necessarily on Carmel Fire Department, but definitely knowing how many stations we have, you know, what kind of trucks do we have, how many ambulances do we have. That information is available and out there, and knowing a little bit more about the city of Carmel and the department that you're looking to get hired on will only help you in the long run.
And I know the people that are on the panel, they've got paper in front of them. Sometimes they're taking notes on the interviewer, you know, the questions, how they're responding. Are you guys looking for key words?
That is, you know, kind of historically in some of these interviews, you're told, you know, to look for keywords. What we want is, whether you use keywords or not, we want to make sure that there's substance to what you're telling us. So background to it, you know, I always say meat with the potatoes. So you need to have true investment in who you are when you're telling us that, not just keywords.
When it comes to what I wear to this interview, what do guys typically wear? What should we be wearing?
You know, honestly, either for sure a minimum of a tie, but if you have a suit, wear a suit. You want to be professional. You know, you don't have to go out and buy a new suit, but at least a tie, dress shoes, pants. You need to be clean shaven, and that doesn't mean necessarily no facial hair. In the fire service, we can't have beards, we can't have mustaches, but you're not a firefighter yet. So we're not expecting, if you're someone that normally has a beard, that beard needs to be neatly trimmed and defined lines. You know, you can't come in scraggly and hanging down.
So not Duck Dynasty.
Not Duck
Right.
Dynasty,
Okay.
exactly. No 5 o'clock shadow. You need to be clean shaven if you aren't having a full beard that you normally wear, like I said. But if you do, it needs to be presentable and clean.
Okay, and then how about our female applicants? What do they need to wear?
Yeah, so for our female applicants, we definitely recommend kind of the same dress attire, you know, something that is business professional, whether that has a suit jacket over that, a conservative dress or conservative skirt, and definitely want to recommend that you have your hair pulled back, or if you are choosing to wear it down, that it looks clean, it's not kind of wild and crazy and all over the place. And I would recommend minimal jewelry, clean makeup, and then not anything too low cut or revealing would be kind of my thought from there.
And probably obvious, but you don't want to have any distractions like your phone or anything on you when you come in.
Correct, yeah. Do not have your phone on you.
I'd even recommend
yeah,
leaving it in your car.
I would.
Okay.
There's no reason that you would need it with you, and the last thing you want to do is have that go off.
Or be a distraction during your interview for you or the panel of interviewers.
So if an applicant has questions about the process or anything between now and the interview, who do they contact?
Right, so you're gonna pay attention to your email for the most part. You're gonna find a lot of information in those emails that are being sent out by Carmel Fire Department. If you do have questions, you're gonna reach out to Erica Reinhardt, and that number.
317-571-2600.